Most men carry a quiet belief deep inside, a belief that the pleasures and rhythms of their youth simply fade away, that certain joys like intimacy and self-connection are things to tuck away and forget as the years pile on. Maybe you've thought that too. Maybe you've told yourself that the way you've always done things alone is harmless, even invisible to your health. But I want to ask you something important. What if those habits, familiar as they are quietly shaping your energy, your circulation, and even your sense of vitality in ways you've never realized? What if the way you touch yourself, something so personal and private, holds a key not just to your pleasure, but to your health in ways that matter deeply after 60? I am Dr. Alan Mercer, and for over 3 decades, I've sat with men just like you, men who carry stories of quiet frustration, of fading spark, of a body that no longer feels like it belongs to them. Jim was one of those men. He came to me not because he wanted to stop feeling tired or out of breath. He thought that was just part of getting older, but because he felt something more subtle slipping away, a sense of connection to his own body, a strength he used to take for granted. He spoke softly, almost ashamed, about how his moments alone had become rushed, mechanical, and unsatisfying. His mornings were weighed down by fatigue, his evenings hollow of the energy he once had. What struck me was how he never linked these symptoms to something as simple as how he cared for himself in solitude. Jim's story isn't unique, and it shines a light on something most men don't talk about. The way we engage with our bodies, especially in private moments, evolves with age, sometimes without us even noticing. It's easy to assume that what worked in our 30s or 40s should still work now. But the truth is, our bodies change in profound ways. After 60, hormonal rhythms slow down. Blood vessels that once carried a rushing tide of life begin to stiffen, much like an old garden hose that's been left out in the sun too long. When the pressure drops and the walls aren't as flexible, forcing more through only causes strain, not flow. And our nerves, those delicate messengers of sensation, become more sensitive, yet more vulnerable. What once felt effortless now requires care, attention, and respect. Imagine your body as a familiar landscape. In youth, it was a vibrant forest, lush, flexible, and resilient. But time has brought seasons of change. Some trees have thickened, some roots have shifted. The soil needs more tending. Masturbation, as intimate as it is a form of tending, a way to nurture that landscape. Yet many men unknowingly apply the same rough tactics that might have worked decades ago, causing wear and tear instead of nourishment. Let's talk about those common mistakes that often go unspoken but have lasting effects. First, rushing through the experience as if it were a checklist to tick off. The nervous system in older men craves slowness. It needs time to wake up gently rather than being jolted awake. Speed can create tension, a kind of emotional and physical tightening that ultimately dulls pleasure rather than enhances it. Then there's the matter of grip, the pressure applied during those moments. What once was a natural, almost effortless touch can become an aggressive, sometimes desperate hold. Excessive squeezing or friction over time can damage nerve endings. These nerves don't regenerate as quickly as they did in youth, and the result is a dulling of sensation that's often mistaken for the inevitable loss of ability. Another silent pitfall is overfrequency, often born from boredom, stress, or a need to escape. It's easy to fall into a pattern of daily, even multiple daily sessions, hoping to recapture energy or simply fill quiet hours. But like a battery that's drained too often without time to recharge, this constant demand taxes the nervous system and leaves a man feeling drained, foggy, and less capable of real intimacy. Many men also rely heavily on visual stimuli, pornography in particular, as a crutch to maintain arousal. But this creates a dopamine-driven cycle that's fast-burning and ultimately leaves little substance behind. The brain begins to associate pleasure with screens and not with the deeper, more meaningful connections the body and mind crave. It's a cycle that can lead to a kind of emotional disconnect, where physical response remains but the heart and mind feel distant. Beyond the physical, there's an emotional layer that often gets overlooked. Masturbation can become a mechanical act, stripped of the emotional connection that once made it tender and restorative. The memories, the fantasies, the feelings that once colored those moments add richness and depth. Without them, it becomes a hollow habit, an act of routine rather than a moment of care. One of the most important signals men tend to ignore is how their body feels after these moments. Fatigue, heaviness, or a sense of depletion are not normal. They are cries from your body, a warning that something isn't right. Instead of brushing off that exhaustion as just age, it's crucial to listen and respond with gentleness and patience. Lastly, pelvic floor health is a silent player in all this. The muscles you can't see, the ones that support your pelvic organs and control blood flow, are vital to sustaining pleasure and preventing pain or discomfort. Neglecting these muscles can cause a cascade of problems that rob you not just of sensation, but of confidence and control. But here's the truth. You don't have to give up the things you love. You don't have to surrender to a fading spark or accept these changes as your fate. What you need is a new approach, one that honors your body's wisdom and nurtures it with the care it deserves. Slowing down, tuning into your breath, and using a lighter, more intentional touch are simple shifts with powerful effects. Introducing breathing techniques before and after moments of pleasure helps relax your nervous system and increases blood flow. Spacing out your sessions allows your body to rebuild sensitivity, restoring the thrill of anticipation. Strengthening your pelvic floor through gentle exercises like Kegels for men supports the entire system, making pleasure fuller and more sustainable. Even small lifestyle tweaks, staying hydrated, ensuring good sleep, and managing stress can dramatically influence how your body responds. Think of it like tuning a vintage instrument. It needs care, the right environment, and thoughtful attention. When you approach your body with patience and respect, you create space for renewed connection, energy, and joy. Masturbation, when done with awareness, can become more than a routine. It can be a pathway back to your vitality. It's about reclaiming control over your body and honoring yourself in a way that builds strength rather than erodes it. For many men, this shift is deeply empowering, a gentle rediscovery of pleasure as a source of life, not just release. I'll share more about these habits and the ways you can nurture yourself in the second half of this conversation. But for now, I want you to sit with this idea. Your body is not a problem to be solved. It's a story to be understood. And every story, no matter how complex, can be rewritten with care, knowledge, and kindness. As we continue, it's important to understand that masturbation after 60 is not merely a physical act. It's deeply woven into your emotional fabric. For many men, those private moments become a refuge, sometimes the last place where you feel you have control. But control without care can become a double-edged sword. What if instead of a mechanical escape, these moments could be a tender act of self-love, a way to reconnect with yourself on a level that nourishes both body and soul? This is the invitation I want to extend to you, to approach your body not as a machine to be fixed or a problem to be managed, but as a garden that needs tending with patience and intention. Consider how intimacy works in your relationships. With partners, family, even friends. It's not just about physical touch, it's about presence, vulnerability, and emotional safety. The same is true for how you treat yourself. When you slow down, breathe deeply, and invite your mind to be present rather than distracted, the act becomes a ritual that honors the years you've lived, the wisdom you carry, and the body that has held your stories. It's not about performance, urgency, or achieving a certain outcome. It's about curiosity and kindness. In doing so, you create a richer experience that can ripple into your other relationships, restoring confidence and a sense of wholeness. Many men have told me that once they embraced this shift, their perception of their bodies changed dramatically. They noticed that sensation returned, not just in fleeting bursts, but as a deeper, more sustained awareness. They felt lighter after, not drained. They discovered a new kind of pleasure that was rooted in connection, not just release. This isn't just about masturbation. It's about reclaiming a part of your vitality that you may have thought was lost to time. You're not broken, and you're not past the point of change. What you're experiencing is a natural evolution that requires new ways of tending to your body and mind. Think of it as learning to play a new instrument, not with frustration, but with curiosity and patience. Each small adjustment you make, whether it's slowing your pace, softening your grip, or simply allowing yourself to rest afterward is like tuning that instrument a little more finely. It's also important to recognize that your journey is unique. There is no right way to care for yourself, but there are ways that honor your health and dignity. Maybe you try a breathing exercise before your next session, or take a moment afterward to simply sit with how your body feels. Maybe you explore gentle pelvic floor exercises that awaken muscles you forgot were there. These are small acts of self-respect that send a powerful message to your body. You matter, your pleasure matters, and your health is worth tending. I want to share with you a vision of hope. Imagine waking up feeling lighter, your body responsive and willing, your mind calm rather than restless. Imagine being able to enjoy intimacy, whether alone or with a partner, not as a source of anxiety or fatigue, but as a natural, nourishing part of your day. This is not a distant dream, it's something within your reach. Many men have taken this path and found that their vitality and confidence grew stronger with each mindful step. If there's one message I want to leave with you today, it's this. Your body is still capable of great things, and your experience of pleasure can be renewed and deepened with simple, thoughtful changes. You deserve to feel alive in your skin, to experience connection and joy without fear or shame. The way you care for yourself in these intimate moments is a reflection of how you honor the whole of your life, the challenges you've faced, the wisdom you've gained, and the future you still have to live fully. As we wrap up, I invite you to take one small step. Perhaps it's pausing before your next moment of self-care to breathe and set an intention. Maybe it's exploring a pelvic floor exercise or simply allowing yourself to slow down and be present. Whatever it is, know that this is not about perfection or pressure. It's about kindness and curiosity, two qualities that can transform how you feel about yourself and your body. My name is Dr. Alan Mercer, and I've had the privilege of walking alongside many men in their most private struggles and triumphs. I know that sometimes the hardest step is simply acknowledging that change is possible, but it is. You still have the power to shape your experience, to nurture your body with respect, and to reclaim the vitality that is your birthright. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to stay connected. There are more insights and guidance ahead on how to care for your circulation, boost your energy, and deepen your sense of well-being in ways that honor where you are now. You don't have to face this alone, and you don't have to settle for less than you deserve. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your story today. Remember, the journey to renewed vitality begins with a single gentle step. Take that step for yourself. Your body, your pleasure, and your life are worth it.